Welcome to One on One, dear viewer. This is a program coming to you from Baraton TV, Here and Hereafter. This is a program where we have interviews with great personalities so that we can learn from them to improve our own lives, our spiritual life, our day-to-day life, to become better people. And today we have a very, very important guest. The guest we have today is a vice president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I'll just help introduce the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It operates in several levels. The Seventh-day Adventist Church operates at a local church, and from the local church, when we have a collection of churches coming together, we have an organizational level that we call a field or a conference. Then those fields and conferences, when they come together, we have a union mission or a union conference, and then we have the general conference that runs the whole world, the work of the SDA Church across the world. And then at that level, the general conference operates around the world through offices that they call divisions in different parts of the world. And so today, the leader that we have with us on One is a vice president of the general conference that runs the entire world on Seventh-day Adventist work. We want to welcome you, Pastor Geoffrey Mbwana.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Asante sana.
We are happy to have you here, and our viewers need to know, who is Pastor Geoffrey Mbwana? Where does he come from? Because the whole world is here. He runs the church at the world level. Do you come from Asia, Africa, and where in Africa? Karibu.
I'm a Tanzanian.
You're a Tanzanian.
Born up the mountains of the northeast part of Tanzania in the region of Kilimanjaro, district of Same.
Okay.
And therefore I come from the highlands.
Are these the Pr Mountains?
These are the famously called Pr Mountain ranges. Yes.
And we have Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the tallest peak.
And these ranges run just adjacent to these along the northeastern border with Kenya.
So Kenya is on the other side.
Kenya is right on the other side of the mountain.
That's where you were born and brought up.
That's where, unfortunately, I should say it's a home place, but I was born in Kendu.
You were born in Kendu?
Kenya.
In Kenya here, the Kendu Mission Hospital.
Exactly.
Wow.
Actually, my birth certificate is from Rachuonyo. My parents were working in the northern part of Tanzania in Tarime.
Okay,
my
that's
father
close.
was a teacher, and when it was time for my mother to deliver, she was brought to the closest Adventist hospital, which was Kendu Hospital.
You know something, Pastor? My father was working in Kaigati in Nandi.
Okay.
And when the time for my mother to deliver came, they went to the closest Adventist hospital in Kendu.
Look at that. I never knew about that. We have a lot to talk about.
So we belong to Rachuonyo.
We need to visit Kendu Hospital someday.
Yes. Because
yeah.
So after that, you went back to, you were born then?
I grew up, we spent some few years in Tarime, and my parents tell me that the first language I learned was Kuria.
Okay, yeah, because the Tarime people speak Kuria.
They speak Kuria.
In Kenya and Tanzania.
But again, my father heeded a call to be a pastor.
Yes.
And that's the time we went back home for about 1 year as my father went to solicit for theological training. Okay,
so you went back to Tarime, to the Pr Mountains.
To the Pr Mountains, the village is called Chome, and that's where I did my first year of education, elementary school.
And so you went through primary school?
Went through, not entirely, because my father, after 1 year, he came back.
From Solusi?
From Solusi,
yes.
And therefore we are posted in different parts of Tanzania. It was quite a journey, so I have been to Adventist school, to public primary schools.
The pastor's family?
A pastor's family.
Always transferred from one
migrant, as it were. So that was my experience.
And what do you think about that transfer, moving from place to place?
It was not easy to make friends, and then after 2 years, you lose friends. You have to go through the process of making new friends. Yeah, that was a bit challenging, packing and unpacking every now and then. And yet when I look back of it, you are exposed to various cultures, various ways of doing things, looking at things in each. So I found it enriching.
So actually this moving from place to place may have been disadvantageous at that time, but in the long term?
In the long run, probably I could not be what I am today.
Because it exposes you to adjust to different things.
It exposes you, it shapes your life differently than if I just remain Chome and Chome alone. And so there is a lot of good that came to me as I look back now, and I thank God, and I'm happy to be born in a pastor's home.
And I can say the same, because I was also born in a pastor's home.
Exactly.
I went to so many primary schools and so many schools, and eventually looking back, it is what makes a difference.
It is.
We need to say something to our PK listening to us, who probably for now feels like dad is in this town, moves to this village and the other one, and they're feeling like this is not right. They feel maybe this is not the life. Maybe we need to say something so that we encourage the PKs that it is in God's design for every school you change.
That's very true. And actually, I remember one of the toughest things was that you don't have much privacy in a pastor's home. And therefore, that was a bit itchy. But you know, when I look at it, Dr. Cassis, I say, oh no, probably I didn't look at it with a wider view. Looking back now, I say, you know, the people who came to our house, they were guests, and probably I lacked a little privacy, but they brought something to the family.
Because the visitor had to sleep with the children.
Exactly.
And the pastor's home was the guest house.
They brought experiences. They came with their personalities, and we observed some things. They helped us to know what is right, what is wrong, what you wanted to become. And actually, they also contributed to shaping our lives. So when you look onto the positive side, there is a lot of things to thank God for being a PK, a pastor's kid.
It is not an experience you regret.
No. And probably you don't get it anywhere else.
That is true.
So it's an experience of a lifetime.
And sometimes to hear church members speak negatively of your father, you know, the father is the pastor, and you pick people gossiping, and you have to learn tolerance.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you have to go above and live above that.
Yes.
Because if you don't do, you will be discouraged and miss out on the goodies of life and the things that God has intended for you as a pastor's kid.
Wow. So after primary school, where did you go?
After primary school, this is interesting, I went to Uganda. for my senior one class.
Yes.
I was very happy.
Yes.
I mean, I wanted to have secondary education in my country.
Yes.
But when my dad said that we want to take you to another country.
Yes.
I said, wow. I bought into it.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes.
Because to me, that was abroad.
And it was abroad.
It was abroad.
Yes.
And I thought,
away from home.
Yes, away from home. And probably I looked forward to learn what Uganda was like and what Ugandans were like.
Yes.
And I enjoyed. Unfortunately, I spent only 1 year. Those were the Idi Amin days.
Okay.
And Idi Amin had something with Tanzanians.
Yeah, the relationship was not good with.
So I boarded the last Victoria ship back to Tanzania.
Oh, so you went by Lake Victoria?
By Lake Victoria.
Wow.
And by then I secured an opening at Ikizu Secondary School, an Adventist school. My parents chose Adventist education for me, and I love them for that.
And you don't regret?
Never.
Being in an Adventist institution?
I'm totally sold to Adventist education.
Yes.
I'm an educationist myself, and I prescribe heavily to Adventist education.
At that time, was Ikizu Secondary the best in Tanzania?
It was one of the best.
In Tanzania?
Yes. And the one thing I like about it, our staff were a mix.
Okay.
There were missionaries then, indigenous people,
Yes.
Kenyan,
Yes.
Tanzanians.
They were all
And
there.
therefore, we got an international flavor.
Yes.
And I think that enriched me as well.
And so you went through Ikizu.
I went through Ikizu,
Yes.
finished there. When I finished, I was called to go into teaching.
Okay.
Something that I really wanted. But I said this was not the point of diverging into teaching. I wanted to go to the university.
Okay.
So what I did, I went back to Uganda.
Okay. Yeah,
Bukema.
Idi Amin had left.
By then things had come down.
Yes.
Not quite finished, but Idi Amin was still in power.
Oh, he was still in power?
Yes. So I went back, and soon he was out.
Yes.
And then I continued my education there.
Okay.
For 2
in
years.
Bugema University?
In Bugema. By then, Bugema was just starting.
Okay.
It was a junior college.
Okay.
So after my 2 years there, I went back to Tanzania, started working as a chaplain like you did.
Okay.
I did that for 2 years as an assistant pastor as well.
Okay, and that's where I began.
Exactly. And it was a nice experience to be out there and begin to experience what it is to be a leader. And I remember a lot.
So
Tabora was my first place
of
assignment.
Yes.
Central Tanzania.
What are some of the things that you remember, that come to memory that have not gone over time?
The first time I went into the church board, it almost destroyed me.
Wow.
The church had a unique experience at that time. There was a conflict going on. And I expected church board to be a little heaven, peaceful.
Made of church people.
Yes. And I guess my parents shielded me from the reality of the churches. And so this was an initial shocker. But I must say it was a training ground. It's in Tabora because of these situations that I determined that when I go back to college, I'll take psychology. Because I was troubled about human behavior.
In the church board?
In the church. Why do we behave the way we do?
Yeah.
In fact, while at Tabora, I went to the library there, repeatedly began digging into psychology in an attempt to understand human behavior and therefore know how do you relate to fellow humans, and especially in moments of conflict and crisis. And that was an education in itself. Experiential knowledge of how to be a leader. Yes. Spiritual leader for that matter.
Because leadership is really tested with the difficult people.
Exactly.
Yes.
And conflicts fast track you. Because you are on the moment, you are supposed to act on the moment.
Yes.
People would not take excuses. I did not learn this in college.
Yes.
I don't know how to solve this.
Yet you must solve it.
You must solve it.
Yes.
So being put into that situation, it fast tracks you. And it makes you a person of prayer.
Viewer, I hope you got that conflict will always fast track you. So if you are a pastor somewhere, a leader, and you find yourself in conflict, God is accelerating you.
And I would even dare to say, thank God for those situations. Without them, you may not become what you could become. So when they appear to you, we call them challenges, but you know what? They are opportunities for growth. Yes. You become a person. Yes. In fact, a person that God wants you to be.
Yes. So how did you, after that, I'm sure you left Tabora, because transfers.
I left Tabora. For the 2 years I worked there, I tried very much to save. And therefore, one time my dad comes, he was a departmental director at the Tanzania General Field. Okay. He comes visiting me and he finds I have lost weight.
So the Tanzania General Field was the field for the entire country?
No, by then it was half of the country.
Half of the country.
You cut the central railway line, the entire south was one field. One field. And the other one? In the north they had 2 others. Okay. Yes, by then. No, 3 others.
So he comes and finds his son emaciated.
Emaciated. I didn't buy myself stuff. I had taken one bank from my dad and one box.
Yes.
I never bought a table or a chair.
You were saving money.
I was saving for school because I had my goals set, and whatever I made, I tried to save. And I remember what my dad told me. No, at the rate you're going, you're not going to college. You will die.
But you know, Pastor, it's difficult to save. I think you need to tell us the secret. You know, what your father gave you, you maintained.
Yes.
And I know some young people, they get employed today. They want the most expensive sofa seats. They want the most expensive fridges and everything. I mean, you need to say something about saving, because that was an achievement.
I can say a lot about saving because I have taken it personally, even after graduation.
Yes.
To study more about saving and what it means. I'm passionate about it. You don't save because you have plenty. You save because you must save. There is today, there is tomorrow.
Yes.
There is what is at hand.
Yes.
There is something in the future you never can know.
Yes.
It will occur, and if you have not prepared for it,
yes,
it will hit you very bad. Saving is just as necessary as tithing. You don't tithe because you have plenty.
You tithe because you must.
Tithe because you must.
Yes.
There are blessings that go with it.
Yes.
God demands it.
Yes.
You tithe, you save because you must.
You must.
There is tomorrow that should be taken care of. There are ups and downs in life. In the down times in life, if you have not saved, you might even die. You are in control when you save.
So what are some of the things to help me save? You know, the temptation to spend is big. So somebody says that when you have money, it talks to you. It says, please buy that, buy
Very
that,
true.
buy that.
Very true. Money has a tendency of provoking you into say, use me, use me, use me.
Can you
even at my age,
and it's
even with the
you.
experience that I have,
yes,
I don't go to the shop with money. Because when you get to the shop with money, money has a way of saying, I'm here, man. Use me, use me. And you get into doing something that you never decided, never planned, and something probably which you planned for, but you have not saved for. And you get into financial doldrums after that.
So what do you do to make sure you have this discipline?
You must have a goal.
Okay.
The goal drives you to save for that particular goal.
Okay.
And so after that, you must have a discipline. You must discipline yourself there.
So your goal was school?
Yes. My goal at that time was nothing
school.
else but school.
You wanted further education?
I wanted further education. And I didn't want to say, they have not sponsored me. My dad doesn't have the money.
Yes.
I was given energy, intelligence. There is something I could do.
Yes.
And I decided to do that.
Yes.
So when God has given you some money, you tithe, you give offerings. The next, you save. You only spend after you have done these things. 3 things, viewer. When you get any income, tithe, number 1. Number 2, offerings. Number 3, save before you spend. And you will never regret it. Wow. You live with financial peace. We call it financial freedom. Yes. Because if you know, even if I encounter an accident, yes, there is a cushion somewhere that I have put. Yes. And I may not suffer as much. Wow. So after that, you went for school? Yes, after that, after 2 years of being at the work, yes, it was time I applied because I saw my dad was willing to support me. I had 5 other siblings below me that my parents were to support. So I knew as a firstborn, if I don't take responsibility and contribute to the little that my father was getting to enhance my own education, we may not get anywhere. So I left and I applied. Before I left, I applied to universities that I could afford. Okay. And those were in India and in the Philippines. Okay. India responded first. Yes. So I packed up
Yes.
left to go. But before I packed, something happened, and God is amazing. Somebody came to visit me just about a couple of months before I was to leave for college. Come and visited me, and this person has been helping churches. He purported to tell me that he's been helping church. And actually, I think he helped one church.
Okay.
And he told me that, you know what? I'm running out of money. I have to go back to Kenya. I have to go and refill
the money
to finish. Can you please lend me some money? And I will support you through college. I know you. I know your dad. You know, being a boy, you don't weigh matters very heavily.
You gave the money?
I gave the money. I went to the bank, post office bank.
Yes.
I withdrew almost all
of what you had
saved.
Yeah.
And I gave the money. I waited for the entire 1.5 months. I never saw the man. I've never seen him to this day.
Up to today?
Up to today.
Maybe we should help find this man.
Those are bygone. I think God was doing something.
God was blocking a certain way.
Through an unforeseen incident. So
the trip of India?
I decided to go to India nonetheless.
But without money now?
There is no money.
Yes.
I told my dad the experience, said, oh boy. And I was left with just 1 month to board the plane and go. I don't have my ticket.
Yes.
I had my ticket in the money. So I just decided to go. I packed.
And left.
Put my box in the train back to Morogoro where my parents were.
Yes.
The only thing I had bought was a bicycle that I used to move from one school to another with, as I did chaplaincy.
Yeah.
So I took these back to my daddy's place. I went to Dar es Salaam to canvass.
Yes.
For 1 month I canvassed, and God gave me a ticket.
So you went to canvass to raise the money that you had now lost and get a ticket.
Exactly. I got a ticket.
So you did not sit to cry over money that is gone.
I thought devil was coming to challenge me on the goal I had set. I had decided to train as a minister.
Yes.
And I thought I was on the right track. I was convinced. So I said, no, I will not give room to the devil.
And so what I'm seeing here,
plunge into it.
Yes.
Let it be.
What I'm seeing here is that you lost this money, but you did not stop at your loss.
No. Don't allow hurdles that come on your way to stand on your way.
Yes.
You will not get anywhere.
Wow.
Make those hurdles to be stepping stones to where you are going. You will make it.
And so you got a ticket to India.
I got my ticket to India. First time to board the flight, Ethiopian Airlines. I remember it very well.
Wow. Thank you so much. Now, viewer, we are coming back to pick the story from the trip to India. This is Baraton TV coming to you with the program One on One. God bless you. Join us in the next program. Thank you very much.